having us, Patrick. So we've been working with you for a couple of months on your website, and it's turned out really well. Thanks to your great ideas, perfection to detail, can I say? But yeah, so it's live now at pb-architects.com. So we're just showcasing some of our clients that we've worked with, and there's a lot of people out there that look for direction in business and want to know ideas of how to grow them. Some people want to leap from employment into business, and just want to get, how you started out and what your journey has been.
Well, I actually started out and graduated in Queen's University, Belfast, in the architectural course, and then following through from that, I actually went to a conservation practice, which is my real love for old and conservation buildings, which is nearly following through to where I'm at now in terms of what we do in terms of projects in our company. And then I moved to another company which was closer to home at the time, to be closer to the family. And during that transition, I started to do a lot of work that a lot of people got very, very interested and very excited about. And then I got quite a lot of work out of that. So I took the leap and said, let's do this myself. So I started I hadn't much clients, I had enough to keep me going. But the essence of where I come from is basically when I take on a project, the client's the most important thing, and every client to me is as important as the next client. So it just really evolved from that, and then I like the idea of the way, in terms of architectural design, what we do is very bespoke and very unique, even though it's maybe just a simple building or a very unique or very contemporary building, but it's very unique to the client. And I think the more and more clients seen that, the word got out, and really that's where I came from, and that's where I'm hopefully going.
Built it up, that's brilliant. So we do a lot of digital marketing. We've done your website, and really standing out from the crowd, and even if you don't have a product that's satisfying a need or a want, or it's remarkable, we can market all we like, but customers are going to mentally ignore it. So really, what's your kind of advice for standing out? You mentioned really your unique designs, and even gaining a wee bit of publicity, or even selecting the right product before you even go into business.
I presume that it's obviously different from business to business, but in our terms of the way we do things in the architectural world, it's really getting to know the client, and it's the client that actually produces the designs. We just pull it out of them. Their dreams, their aspirations. So we take that all out, we put it onto paper, and that's how it becomes life. And we get it to a level that we get very personal with the client, and I think that's essential in any business. Don't see it as a product, but see it as a relationship. And even from that there, it's not even actually a job to us, it's actually really a hobby, and the creativity and the creation that we can do something that actually completely changes people's lives.
Yeah. This is a prime example. We're sitting in a 45-foot container.
Four of them.
Is that four of them? Oh my God. So this was featured on Grand Designs, Channel 4, and that really helped your publicity and push you out there as well. And as it's really, there's some people that can really come up with great ideas, and that's the difference between success and failure. And
look, at the same time, when I went on Grand Designs, it wasn't to be on television. It was two things. One, to show people that you can actually create something, within a budget and be very creative. Because architectural, not only to me, is a job, but as a whole, because I feel that in our world, people don't understand that what it can really achieve and how it completely change people's emotions and the way they can live for the better. And by going to Grand Designs, it was somewhat an education to people, and it was a platform for me to show up, at the same time, practice what you preach. So basically, the creativity, the design of the house, it came out of my head. It was an idea that I had. I want to show people you can do it, and it's completely changed the atmosphere and the way people think now about designing houses. So the likes of the media of the Grand Designs really did help myself as a business, but at the same time, I hope it's helped a lot of people in their aspirations of what they want.
There's some people that can't really do that with their businesses. Obviously, they can't really be creative. They're selling simple products, and there's a market, and it could be saturated, But those people have to use their branding, their brand name, and their recognition, really. What do you put down, to your brand and your PB Architects logos and imagery that you put out there on social media and your website now as well?
Well, for the likes of people who are thinking like that, sometimes you have to step outside your comfort zone. And for me, yes, I done it, and I nearly do it on a daily basis. And yes, it's scary, but at the same time, it helps develop your business and helps develop you as a person and what your work as a person. In terms of the branding, I don't see the branding as myself. The branding is actually the product and design, the way you do, and that's provided by the clients. So yes, in terms of social media, the likes of the Facebook and the Instagram, we are very visual led. For the reason of it is, it's our visuals, our creations, and that's what people really want to see. But keep it simple. And by keeping it simple, and the one reason that I think in terms of keeping it simple, when people go on to any type of social media, and even the likes of the website, that they see the product. They're not scrolling around, they get to the point, because they're not off quick, in and out very quick. So branding in one thing is important, but it's very, it depends what business you're in.
Yeah, it's a whole picture really, you know, it's your service and everything, you know, as you talk as a brand and not just a logo or your image, and it has to be sort of consistent across all.
Well, look, in terms of some brands do require logos, I understand that, it's just the way they are, but in the likes of the architectural business, it's actually our product and our designs, and that is our brand.
And you mentioned Instagram, Facebook. We manage a lot of Facebooks and Instagrams and all for companies, and imaging out there and keeping the consistency of that. You know, how do you do that? Do you do it yourself? And any wee tips and tricks for people really trying to get their following up or anything?
Look, to be honest with you, Catherine works for Remarkable. They all know what I'm like. I'm a complete perfectionist, and I can't help it. It's just the way I am. And like, to parents being an entrepreneur, it's one of the worst things you can do. But for me, I do it, and I enjoy doing it. At the same time, I take my time on it, because once it goes out there, it goes out there. Yes, you can take it down, but it's already out there. So in terms of the brand, I do like Instagram. I think Instagram is a great marketing for what I do, and let people follow me. In terms of basically likes of hashtags and things like that, you use what's relevant, you put as many as you can, but at the same time, I do feel that you don't want to overpopulate it in terms of basically too much information going on all the time, because sometimes that does become a wee bit fed up. People don't want to see, and then you start losing followers, you know. Yeah,
absolutely. And do you do it from any apps or any kind of wee tips and things, or do you use Photoshop? Are you on the computer before you even post anything?
Look, I use Photoshop. For some reason, I'm actually not too bad with the iPhone camera.
Good.
So like, we don't do a lot of filtering. The Instagram just a good way, because sometimes you can do a couple of filters and things in that. But it just depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I just need to get away from the computer, away from design, put up an image. I'm not going to be out marketing all the time, but I like the products before me and the images before me will do that. So it's something I quite like doing. It's nearly just like a stress-free thing. Just takes me away from design. Time when I do it, it can be really any time, to be honest with you. Maybe late evenings when I do take a wee bit of time to stress out, chill out, you know.
A huge reason for people being online really is their competition is online. Now at this stage, really it's a necessity to have a website, and if you're getting Googled or in this industry, you know, you really want to be up there and showcasing your business out there really, and they can make buying decisions and find information about your products and service. So we have clients that have got simple websites, they just want basic information, contact us and information about the products, but then there's other ones that need a full bespoke kind of custom built for their e-stores, their complete online stores. So just wanted to find out, what was your biggest aim for this website that we've just completed?
Look, I went yourself, I want to explain what I wanted, you delivered it perfectly. For me, it's the simplicity. When people want to come and see an architect, they want to see their designs, they want to see their images, they don't have to be navigating quite a lot. They want to see the likes of where the companies came from, the practice. Enough information so a client understands, but not too much to sicken them. In terms of the website, the simplicity and the elegance of it, I think is a big bonus, because anybody comes on, they'll want to scroll more, you know. An architect's website, they do all change. Sometimes it can be overcomplicated, sometimes they can say too much, people get fed up, but same as everything in design, life, for me, I think simplicity works best.
Yeah, no, it's very clean and crisp kind of design that we've done. You've been in business now 10 years, is that right? Any more? But what's your lesson?
I used to have grey hair and I have no hair.
Not much. But really, just what's the biggest lessons you've learned for anybody?
I never really actually seen myself actually starting a business. It just seems to evolve, and I think the way some businesses actually do that, you see something happening and it just evolves. I've learned a lot. The biggest thing is prepare to fail. You know, if you don't jump out of your comfort zone, you're still and you're hoping what's went before you is going to keep doing better for you. I failed several times, but I've jumped up and got back better for it. Understand your client, because the client is the most important thing of any business. Nothing else is the client. And if you understand the client, appreciate the client, get a great relationship with the client, that'll help. But it's not about thinking of what you want it to go on as work or a job. You must consider it a hobby. Like, people ask me when I'm going to retire, and I said, do you retire from a hobby? You don't. Look, you could talk about it forever, but you need to love what you're doing. And when you love what you're doing, it just seems to get better and better and better. Yeah. Now, it does come with stress, and trust me, I'm stressed out more than a lot of people, but the enjoyment always takes over.
So, where are you doing business at the minute, or what have you done in recent terms?
It's, you know, we work throughout the UK, work throughout Ireland, and for me, like, we do get offered commissions all over the world, but it's not realistic, and maybe some people say I should be taking that on. But at the same time, for me as a business and for the way we work, the clients that we have and the clients that we take on are the most important. So I will never take on too much work, because I'll not give the same dedication to every individual client, and that for me is important. Our reputation is important, our design's important, so that's where I am, and that's where I go. I could triple my business, quadruple my business tomorrow, but from doing that, I will lose the design aspect. I'll be more of a managing people, and it's all about the client.
Big plans coming up, or what's next for PV Architects?
Look,
with the containers, you know, we've
another company coming up possibly, which I have a few guys involved with. It's quite exciting. It's something that's been evolving over a few years now, and that's hopefully launching sometime over the coming years or coming months. There's a few things you can check out maybe on television coming up in a few weeks' time. I was in RTE Celebrity Home of the Year prior to Christmas, but at the same time, as a media for me, it was really nice to be asked on it, because they really do see you as an expert judge on something at your top of your field. So that didn't happen by chance, that happened by 10 years of massive hard work. And where I'm going, there's something else that's coming up as well. Just so I can see what's out there, and secondly, I can educate. And I'm not here to say I'm always right. Sometimes I am, mostly I am. But what I'm saying, it's really nice that people understand the thinking behind good design. And good architecture and good design will completely change people's lives. I can't explain that any more clear. And I think when more people actually come through my house, they change their whole perception of how they can live. And that, for me, I've left a mark in stone.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you, and thanks for the website.